Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Property Management 101, and today we'll be preparing you to take the best steps necessary to prepare for the condition of your property after a tenant eviction. As you can imagine, when a tenant is evicted, they typically don't leave your unit as good a condition as a scheduled move out. Due to this, you could expect additional turn costs and additional vacancy loss when you're dealing with a unit that the tenant has been evicted from. Here are 3 things you can do to prepare yourself to minimize the vacancy loss and turn cost. The first thing you can do to prepare for a tenant eviction is preparing your vendors. You could expect, if the tenant is being evicted, to have a full paint that will be needed, a full cleaning that will be needed, and a carpet cleaning that will be needed if you have carpets in your unit. Now, it is very rare what I've seen and experienced from evictions when these are not the case, so I would rather prepare your vendors just to have this to be the case just in the event so you can have a quick turn. I would let your vendors know that you are expecting this tenant to leave the unit in very poor condition so they can be ready with all the supplies and team that they have to prepare themselves to turn the unit quickly. Once you've confirmed when that tenant will be leaving that unit, I would start by scheduling your vendors to come to the unit to turn it as quickly as possible. If you're able to schedule out your vendors this way, this is the way I would recommend it for most turns. After your maintenance team gets in there and does any maintenance work that's needed, as well as trashing out the units, I would always schedule to have your painters come in first, then your carpet cleaners, then your general cleaners. This will allow the unit to be turned quickly, and this will allow the unit to be turned as efficiently as possible, getting it back on the market to be rented, minimizing the vacancy loss. The second thing you want to do to prepare for this unit is changing the locks quickly. I know this sounds obvious. I know it sounds obvious and may already be a part of your standard process, but unfortunately it is more common for an evicted tenant to come back to the unit than it is a scheduled move out. I've had personally situations where this has occurred. So one thing I would always recommend doing is changing the locks as quickly as possible, but then also walking the full unit to make sure everything is locked up and secured. This includes all windows, any sliding doors, as well as changing any locks that may not just be the front door as well. Oftentimes in evictions as well, all the keys may not be returned and you don't know who all has keys and access to the unit. I hope so far you're finding this information helpful and learning something new. If so, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for future videos. And the last best practice to keep in mind for when an evicted tenant leaves that unit is you want to make sure that you allow for additional time for that unit to be down. This is important that the entire staff is aware of this time frame that you are expecting, especially your leasing staff. Oftentimes I've seen situations where a leasing staff may overpromise to a prospect when a unit will be available, relying and leaning into the normal turn times of that unit instead of keeping in mind that this unit is going to take a little bit longer to turn. You never want to have a situation where they're overpromising to a prospect and having a situation where that prospect's disappointed and may not consider other units you have available because of the bad taste left in their mouth from that first experience. So it's really important that everyone has a good estimate of when this unit will be available. And once you have some of your vendors determine, hey, how long some of this work will take, I would recommend as soon as you can to start putting a date to pre-lease that unit as quickly as possible to minimize the vacancy loss, as you're able to provide a better estimate to when that unit will be available. And if you haven't done so already, please watch my disclosure video as well as my why I do this video. I'll provide both links in the video description. And if you learned something new and enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for future videos. If you have any questions about this video or any of my videos, feel free to leave a comment. I'll be happy to address it for you. And don't forget to connect with us with LinkedIn and Instagram as well, as we post industry news, polls, and video releases. Happy leasing!